Ramirez. I think Jordan Ramirez up there in Tahoe. Wants to play golf soon. J. Ram. What's up, guys?
I'm in on that.
And Steve, Premier Limos. Everybody have Premier Limos as well. They're part of the crew as well. Today's the final day of the All-Star Week blowout here at 95.7 The Game. Nobody loves you like 95.7 The Game. And we still got some great prizes left.
You think Philly loves us? Philly
definitely does not love us. They do not love us. But you know what? I could care less. Screw Philadelphia. I'm going back there in December. I got to find a way to go back out there for Week 13. A little too much talking.
I want to give you a snippet of my DMs.
Okay.
A snippet.
You
suck. We rule, chump.
I mean, come on, dude. These guys are like 5.
Blank you. Go Birds. 31-7.
Bye.
Hey, you mad, bro? Go Birds. I'll kick your butt.
I mean,
you blanks still got those tears flowing with a broken heart. Grow the blank up. Build a bridge and get over it, bro. Birds.
I had a guy literally call me a dork while wearing a cape over a jersey. A grown-ass man wearing a cape over his jersey.
I'm not done. You won't shut up about Philly. Well, our fans are ready to take you on. December 3rd, when we win, you shut the blank up.
No, nobody's going to shut the blank up.
Hey, screw you, crybaby. Niners stink.
Well, I mean, that's not even creative. It's not even funny.
It's so funny.
It's just trash.
It's
not even these guys are straight up losers. They're absolute losers. And Joe Giglio, who you went on with the other day, wrote an article about why Jalen Hurts is already better than Donovan McNabb. I mean, that's what's going on out there in Philadelphia.
I'm not mad at that take.
That's a terrible take. Terrible.
I mean, he had almost an MVP season, but
he's played it 2 years.
Oh, well, okay.
2 years. McNabb had a borderline Hall of Fame career. Can we wait for Jalen Hurts' career to play out before we say, oh, he's already better than Donovan McNabb?
All right, that's a fair point.
Come on, man. Think about how ridiculous that sounds. That's like us saying Jimmy Garoppolo's better than Steve Young after 7 games.
It's a good point.
I mean, I don't know.
No.
But anyway, we got a Clay autograph jersey to give out.
A Clay
tickets, Clay. Pair of tickets to go see Jerry Seinfeld and Jim Gaffigan.
Nice.
And a round of golf with one of the shows at Berkeley Country Club. Now we got Dalton Johnson.
Yeah.
Dalton Johnson, Warriors reporter for NBC Sports Bay Area, my teammate. And before we get to the Golden State Warriors, Dalton Johnson used to play college baseball.
Oh, nice.
He used to play college baseball.
I heard he's a baller from Petaluma.
Yep, absolutely.
Speed was in his game.
Which is why his nickname is Petaluma's Finest.
My boy Charlie said that he was quite the player.
Yeah, he's Petaluma's Finest. People on the street, they see DJ, they say Petaluma's Finest. That's him. And so since Petaluma's Finest is on the Morning Roast today, what's your thoughts on the Giants? You still watch baseball. What's your thoughts on them overall?
I think they've been kind of surprising. They've been fun at least, right? I mean, they've been up and down. They've surprised us a little bit, and I think that Logan Webb is a bona fide ace. So, I mean, I think there's a lot to be at least excited about. You know, the last few seasons, there's been times up and down where you get a little bored here and there, and I think that this team has at least been more exciting, more of what we want to see day in and day out from a baseball team. And like I said, every fifth day, I think that you really do have an ace in San Francisco with Logan out there.
What's your thoughts on Farhan?
Farhan, man, it's been, again, I talk about kind of up and down. I think that our thoughts have kind of been like that with Farhan the last few years because there was such buy-in early with this kind of Farhan and we trust kind of movement, and then, you know, you lose out on some of the big names, and that trust just kind of goes away. But I think he's a really smart guy, and I still think at the same time that I want to see him be able to kind of make the major move that the franchise, the baseball team in San Francisco still deserves. It's kind of my overall thoughts. Is that he's smart, but a really smart guy actually. But I still want to see that major move, see him roll the dice a little bit, and kind of seal the deal instead of just being second place a handful of times.
You're probably on. I don't know. The Niner one is so. Niners are so scrutinized, right? Just at every turn for everything that they do. And the Warriors clearly are scrutinized at every turn for everything they do. Why is it the Giants aren't scrutinized for anything? Like, as someone who covers sports on a daily basis as a journalist, don't you feel like the way we talk about them, the way we cover them, the way they're analyzed, the way that we dissect them is just, the sense of urgency just isn't there?
I think it's a couple things. I think, number one, it's funny because it's almost like we had to tell ourselves, as far as like the fan base goes, like the fan base almost had to be like, okay, maybe we did get a little greedy with 3 and 5 years, right? Because right after like the 3 and 5 years, all you wanted was win, championship, and then you kind of were able to take a step back and go, okay, that was pretty dang special. Maybe we should relax for a second here. That was awesome. So I think that there's been kind of this sense of that, kind of like there's a little bit of a wave in fandom when it comes to that. But then also just the length of the season is just different. When you have every Sunday, when you have once a week with football, when you have such a storied franchise like that has been on the cusp a few times for the last few seasons, but it really is owning one day of the week for that span of time. Like, you are all in on football season when it is football season.
Right.
And then basketball, when you have a historic kind of talent like a Steph Curry, I think, and you see the way he's transcended the game, and then the talent that's been around him with Draymond, with Clay, with KD, winning championships, it's just hard not to be all in every single game, right? So I think there's a couple of things that kind of involved there, again, with a transcendent talent like a Steph Curry, with football owning every single week of the year when it's football season, and you being right there as the Niners at quest for 6, and then the Giants, they've surprised us, they've hurt us, they've brought us back up, and that's just kind of the wild, very long wave of a baseball season.
Dalton Johnson here on the Morning Rush on 95.7 The Game, covers the Warriors for NBC Sports Bay Area. He is Petaluma's finest. Don't forget, 920, Know the Show. Know the Show at 920, 888-957-9570. You'll have to answer a question about today's show in order to win one of these great prizes, including a Klay Thompson autographed jersey. Ooh. So are you still out there in Vegas, Dalton?
No, I got back home just a little bit ago, back in Petaluma now. So Vegas did Vegas to me, but back in Petaluma now, though. So
that's a good thing, man. You were out there for a while.
Back and breathe a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So you covered a lot of Brandon Podziemski. You saw Trace Jackson Davis make his debut. Let's start with Pods. He's most likely going to play a lot of games in the G League. What's the most alarming thing about him in terms of something to worry about? Because a lot of fans are worried about him. They're already calling him a bust through a week of Summer League basketball, which is absolutely ridiculous. But what are some of the things that you're concerned with when it comes to Pods?
Yeah, I think number one, let me just get this right out of the way. I'm 1,000% on the same boat as you are as far as, look, doing things like bust in Summer League, all of that, especially actually being able to watch his game. He's not a bust. And it is Summer League, and it's 4, 5, 6 games, whatever it's been between Vegas and Sacramento, not a bust. I would say a couple things about him is that, number one, he is a lot closer to 6'3" than he is to 6'5", 6'6". You know, I think he even has 6'6" in his Twitter bio. It's a lot closer to 6'3", 6'3.5". I think that when you look at the scoring numbers, that's obviously why people are worried, why it's jumping out, is because the scoring just hasn't been there. Neither has the shot. I think what we want to kind of look at is how is he going to get his shots off at the next level, because the actual shot it's a pretty left-handed shot. There's no doubt about that. The form is there, all of that. So it's more about how is he going to find his shot. In Summer League, I was almost a little bit surprised that he's been so on the ball and really kind of been running the offense. Would have liked to be able to see him run off a few screens here and there, set him up for some open three-pointers, because every once in a while when it has been in rhythm, it's been nice. But he just hasn't really had that many rhythmic shots at all. You know, he's really he's shown a floater game. He's shown that he's not afraid to get to the basket. But then you even kind of look back at some of his college games where he struggled, where he had He had a 7-point game against a UC Irvine, who won the Big West. A 7-point game against St. Mary's, who's a top 20 team, as we know. A 4-point game against UCF, who has a good coach in Johnny Dawkins and had a top pick in Taylor Hendricks. So you kind of look at those games and go, okay, what went wrong there? Is it an athletic thing? Is it a scheme thing? So I think him playing with more NBA players is going to help him out, and I actually think that Steve Kerr's system is going to help him out big time too as well.
What do we miss in this offseason? Like, what's the thing everyone's talking about, but you think, like, man, no one's talking about this. This is what we should be talking about for the Warriors for next year.
Just the fact that their roster is just balanced now, just to be completely honest with you, and maybe it is what we are talking about. You know, I'm just trying to emphasize it more because you look at it and it's obviously Chris Paul's a big name. Obviously, bringing back Draymond was priority number one. But if you had to pick names out of the hat and go, okay, Dario Saric, okay, Corey Joseph, are they superstar names? Like even bringing in guys like a DeMarcus Cousins from the past. No, it's not. It's not the same name brand, but I think that it's much more of a fit, and I just think that this team makes more sense. It truly does. So I think that's just kind of where I stand. Where I might, to be completely honest with you, might not be answering your question perfectly. I'm just trying to emphasize the point even more that this team, to me, on paper, makes sense, and I think it does for the players and the coaching staff as well.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the players and coaches are talking about that. They're saying that we feel more balanced. We feel like we're a more complete team. What do you think about that, including Larry Harris, the assistant GM of the Warriors, basically yesterday admit on the ESPN broadcast, basically saying, yeah, our locker room was fractured. Are you surprised that they're emphasizing how fractured their locker room was after the season when during the season everybody kind of said, hey, we're okay, we're all right. You were around this team all the time. You traveled on the team. We all knew that it was a fractured locker room, but are you surprised that they're really harping on that this offseason?
I'm actually happy that they are harping on it this offseason because it's time to just be honest, right? I mean,
yeah.
and I think it's kind of good for someone like a Draymond who's coming back, obviously who's all in on the team, with that 4-year contract, player option on the 4th year, obviously, to kind of hear them not have to hide from anything and be honest now and be like, yeah, it was fractured. Yeah, we were swimming upstream from the very start. We did not have this Warriors way that everyone talks about, this championship culture that everyone talks about. Wasn't there. And so I'd much rather them, I know it's after the fact now, but I'd much rather them just be out in the honest, out in the open and say what it was and what it really was, and more of just what we were actually feeling and actually seeing and actually hearing, because it just needs to actually be said, right? I mean, right. It was getting to a point where it's okay. Like, we know you guys need to do the political dance, and we know what you need to say, but once the season's over, what are you going to say? And to me, they're actually saying all the right things from not hiding from anything finally.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dalton.
What if there's issues again this year?
Great question. Great question. Then you're in trouble, obviously, because you're in the guard. I mean, really though. I mean,
it's true.
You don't have a Bob Myers to walk down the sidelines during the game and go, "Hey, Draymond, get this act together." You don't have all of that, right? Where last year they're hoping that was obviously their year where they can look back and go, that's not who we are. That's not who we can be anymore going forward. We've corrected our mistakes. We're not worried about 2026 anymore. We're worried about 2023, 2024, one season at a time, and then they'll move forward, right? So I think that they're almost hoping that last year was their mulligan, and then they can move forward and really kind of go all in year by year now.
We're talking to Dalton Johnson here on the Morning Rush on 95.7 The Game. A lot of good stuff. Covered the Warriors Summer League team. Covers the Warriors all season long for NBC Sports Bay Area. Guys gotten better and better with the pen and on television. How relieved do you think Jordan Poole was when you saw him last Saturday? Because we're going to talk about him a lot because obviously he was, I don't know if scapegoat is a word, but he was polarizing out here, and he will be for many, many years. What did you take from Jordan Poole? Did he look relieved to you?
Yeah, to be honest with you, he did, and I like Jordan a lot. I mean, I was able to talk with him a little bit. You know, he was all good, friendly, but very respectful. That's who Jordan is. Honestly, he really is. And like that's the hard part about this is that we get to talk about, why Chris Paul is a really good fit, why they needed the third guard in Corey Joseph, why Dario Saric makes sense high IQ wise, and unfortunately, a lot of that also gets muddied up with, okay, well that means Jordan Poole wasn't any of those, and he was a bad fit, and all of this. Hey, we need to analyze. We need to do our jobs. But Jordan Poole has talent. Jordan Poole definitely is going to put up numbers in Washington. And Jordan Poole's a good dude. I'm happy for him. He's 24 years old. He's able to now kind of make his own journey, his own chapter. He has starting talent, probably should be a starter. And he gets to go out there and do his thing now next to, a really interesting franchise right now that is obviously at a rebuild with two players they think can be kind of star-like with Jordan and with Kuz. So that's a duo that's going to be really fun to watch night in, night out. If you're looking for a league pass team, that might be one of them. There might be some big-time blowouts in times there, and there also might be some 153 to 149 games, too, that are just going to be fun to watch. So I do think that he almost felt a sense of relief. It's clear that he's just trying to move on with also showing respect to the Warriors and to the guys who got here at this point. So to be completely honest with you, man, I'm happy for Jordan. I really am.
What'd you make of the Kuminga comments that are being parsed right now where people are interpreting a million different things from something that I thought was very just ho-hum?
Yeah, I think when it comes to Jonathan, he's a really young guy, and I never try to look like too far into it. Haven't heard a bad word from outsiders as far as Kuminga this offseason. Saw him in the facility, getting up shots, getting his work in Vegas. Every single day Moses Moody was in there in the weight room. Every single day I was there. You could see Moses Moody in the weight room at the Las Vegas facility. So, again, I think that they're all in on this kind of year 3 leap, which on paper, on radio, it sounds great. We need to see it, obviously. But the roster's set up for Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody to make those kind of leaps, right? And I mean, that's what should excite a lot of people about kind of crossing off those two timelines, but having two really talented young guys who fit right now. And you can kind of do a little bit of a now or never without having to throw all the pressure in the world on them as well.
No doubt. Dalton Johnson here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. Great job, buddy, as always. Can't wait to see you. Get some rest, man. Out there in Vegas, man. Decompress a little bit, man. Kiss the wife. Have some fun. Dalton, thanks for the time today.
Thanks, fellas. Always have fun.
Anytime. Petaluma's finest, Dalton Johnson, laying some perspective on the Golden State Warriors as we move forward here.